Taoiseach, I want to raise with you this afternoon the cost of living crisis that's impacting on households, people struggling to keep up with soaring bills across the board. Many people have no money left at the end of the month, 3 in 5, according to a report from Deloitte. And people are now very worried about the months ahead. Times are especially hard for those on low pay, whose wages have been outstripped by soaring costs. A report published by Mandate Trade Union today presents the stark reality faced by many working in the retail sector. We see 2/3 of retail workers earn less than €450 a week, and only 20% of retail workers earn more than €500 a week. The main reason for this is that many workers are not able to get the hours that they need to make a decent living. Sharp practice by some employers denies additional hours to workers when they become available, forcing many close to the breadline. We're living through the biggest squeeze on household incomes in 40 years. Rents through the roof, mortgage repayments soaring, energy bills out of control, grocery bills increased sharply, and childcare fees sky high. So how can someone on a low or middle income get by? The answer, Taoiseach, is with very great difficulty. Many are on the brink. I spoke to one retail worker this morning who told me about the stress and pressure that she is under. Here's what she told me. She said, "I work hard, but I just don't get the hours I need to live with any security. Things were bad already, but we were just about getting by. Since the rise in living costs, I'm having real trouble paying my bills. We're really worried about being able to keep up the mortgage now. I don't have any hope of putting money away for a rainy day, or if something goes wrong, the money isn't there. I have colleagues, people who put in tough shifts, but they are now choosing between food on the table or paying the electricity bill. There is so much uncertainty and worry, it's really tough going." The cost of living is devastating for people, but just as last year, government is moving far too slowly in responding. Just as last year, government fails to give workers and families the clarity and the certainty that they need. In the last couple of weeks, Taoiseach, you have refused to back mortgage relief measures. You've refused to legislate to ban extortionate rent increases. When I asked you yesterday about extending the eviction ban, you came up blank. Taoiseach, people are struggling now. They want to see a plan from government that helps them make it through the difficult months ahead. People are worried now, and I'm asking you to give them the certainty they need today. I'm asking you to lay out clearly what actions your government will take as the cost of living crisis continues to bite hard.
Deputy, just want to acknowledge the fact that a lot of people are suffering as a consequence of the rising cost of living. I think people appreciate, and you've acknowledged in the past, that the factors driving it are largely international factors, high energy prices, the war in Ukraine, and also a prolonged period of monetary policy which has given rise to a high level of inflation now. The government has taken a lot of actions to date, and we will continue to act in the coming months to help people with the cost of living. But unfortunately, it won't be possible to fully compensate people for rising costs. We will do that as best we can for those in the lowest incomes and those who need the most help. Won't be possible for us to do it for everyone, as ultimately anything we do is done with taxpayers' money and has to be recouped from people and businesses in the long run. I think it might be worth, once again, just putting on the record of the House the 25 interventions that the government has taken already to help people with the cost of living. An autumn double payment of weekly social welfare and pension payments, a double payment of child benefit, €400 lump sum of fuel allowance, €500 lump sum for the working family payment, €500 for people with disabilities, people who are blind and people on the invalidity pension, €200 lump sum payment for people in receipt of the living alone allowance, €500 for carers, a Christmas bonus double payment for pensioners and people on social welfare. Just in the last few weeks, a €12 a week increase in the pension and weekly social welfare payments, the largest single increase since the mid-2000s. the largest ever expansion of the fuel allowance scheme, in particular with a focus on people over 70, increased income thresholds for the working family payment, the expansion of hot school meals, an increase in the back-to-school clothing and footwear allowance, 2 fuel allowance lump sum payments, an energy credit of €200 and another €200 being paid at the moment and another €200 to come in March, a reduction in student fees, a 25% reduction in childcare costs, a rent tax credit, a reduction in public transport fees, and a reduction in the costs of the drug payment scheme, as well as reductions in VAT and excise duties. So a lot has been done, but we acknowledge that inflation is still high, the prices continue to rise, and that we will need to act again in the coming weeks to help people with the cost of living through the spring and summer period. And government will meet this week, or rather ministers will meet this week with a view to making a decision at Cabinet next Tuesday with regard to further actions that we can take. Finally, in relation to the mandate report, haven't had a chance to read it yet, but I've seen the summary. And the government is committed to making work pay better and ensuring that efforts are rewarded. There's been a 7.8% increase in the national minimum wage only a few weeks ago. We think that will actually exceed the inflation rate for this year, and that has a knock-on increase for others on low pay. Statutory sick pay is now a reality. Workplace tips and gratuities are now protected. We've had the additional public holiday, and we're now moving towards a living wage over the period of the next 4 years.